So we're going to go on, and what we're going to start looking at is actually using footage from outside to create what is called the KenBurns video effect. Now, the KenBurns video effect is something that I was demonstrating to you before, showing you a little bit about. If I go to YouTube, I can look up the KenBurns effect there. And the KenBurns effect is it's where you're demonstrating video or faking video with using an image. And so you've got a lot of different demonstrative versions here. You'll see that what you're trying to do is kind of focus in on what's important about an image and use it to help tell your story in an effective way. Now, in the sample that they have here, you can see that they're kind of zooming in each one. It doesn't mean that you always zoom in. You can pan across, and this one pans across quickly. And so sometimes you want to change around how fast you pan, how slow you pan, to be able to tell your story in different ways. Now, you can also focus in, zoom in to something and pan at the same time in order to give a little bit more emphasis to something. So this is really important because it helps you realize that you do need fairly high resolution images that you import in order to do the KenBurns effect really well. So let's go back to Premiere, and I'm going to go ahead and delete everything that I have on my timeline. So I can delete all the stuff on my timeline, and I'm going to go ahead and delete my nested timeline so that I just have my regular sample timeline. And I might take my marker back to the beginning as well. Now the bars and tone we're going to worry about later. You can see right now it's in my source window, but I don't need to worry about that. There's no way to clear it out of there. I'll just wait until I've imported some other footage. To import footage, let's right click, choose import, and then we'll locate some footage on our computer. Let's go to my documents, and you'll see that we have stock art right here. So if you double click on stock art, we can go into the Illustrator stock photos, and we've got lots of images there. Of course, we can view our images by thumbnails, and we can choose different ones. The images here, for the most part, are not very good, but that's fine for right now. I'm going to double click on it, and the reason these are not very good is because they're fairly low resolution. You'll see if I move over this panel just a little bit, it's only 640 by 429. So it's not very large. To view this in our source window, you can double click on it, or you can drag it over into your source. Now, it's not going to show you exactly what size this is going to be until you drag it down into your program. So we'll click and drag this down into our program, and you'll see now in our program, this document, this image, is really not that large. It's not even taking up the full size. So just so you can be aware, you probably want to bring in larger images. Now, because of the fact that we're going to be dealing with these images, I'm going to try and maximize this view as much as possible. And I'm going to actually just pull over the other windows so I can make my program window a little bit larger and limit the size to the others. You could also take your program window and move it over to the right-hand screen so you can see it almost full screen. Now, the reason that we kind of need a little bit more room here is because we also need to be able to see at the same time our effects windows, and that's actually in this panel here to the left. Now, I can see effect controls, so I'll click on it up there. And here's how we make basic changes to our image. If you look, open up motion, you'll see position and scale, and we can actually change all these different numbers just by clicking on the image and moving or dragging on the numbers. So let's position our image so that it is 100% size. And we might even want to make this go down to like 75% or even 50%, so we can make sure that we can see that all the edges there. And we just kind of want to get our image set for beginning before we start doing animation, which we'll be doing in our next tutorial.